Today we're gonna run a social experiment to see what happens when you can buff Paragons. More specifically, we're gonna test the following 4. Tack, Bomb, Wizard, and then Spike Paragon. We're testing these 4 specifically because they are the more recent Paragons, and I actually did cover this mod a while back, but Doom Bubbles, the creator of the mod, has updated it to be part of this big, or a small part of this big mod tactical tweaks. One of them is, you know, updating the Buffable Paragons for the newer ones. Needless to say, it will be interesting to see how far each one gets now in a solo Paragon test, mind you, and also at degree 100. So for reference, these are the rounds that vanilla degree 100 Paragons, the 4 that we're going to test, got to. Look at the second number. The first one is for the degree 1 test, so all of them at least 200. But how much more than that remains to be seen. Anyway, we probably should stop wasting time and head straight to a really high round. So we'll start with some tiny buffs like an expertise. This will give CDR on our ability, which is going to come in really handy. Energizer 2. Given that normal attack shooters get an absolutely crazy correct amount of damage with max buffs, I figure we're gonna like get way past than maybe even what I expected. I'm doing it, the 4 Paragons in this order, because that's what I assume like they would get to, or at least each one should ideally get higher and higher in rounds. But, well, I guess we'll see if I'm right by the end. It's been a while since I last used the Gold Village, but a friendly reminder that this tower allows you to get the TSG buff without having to buy the tower itself, which is helpful, because now we have this thing that doesn't take away any pops. Not that, again, since we're testing a Paragon that does millions, that a vanilla TSG will do that much in comparison, but still, it's good to have. And yeah, we're gonna get past 200 easily now. Speaking of easily, let's get Azili. So I'm gonna most likely pick Azili for most Paragons here. She gives a nice flat 17% attack speed with the totem. And yep, these are all of the buffs I can get on the Tack now. Also, is it just me, or... oh, range buffs might actually be kind of bad for the Tack. Because the main attack is now shooting in a much wider radius, which concentrates, or yeah, lesser concentrates its projectiles in one spot. Sorry, I gotta go back to English class here, but do you see what I mean? When we first started without adding any buffs, it was very tiny, but now it's almost as if we activated the second ability. Speaking of which, what happens if we use that now? Big range combined with big range creates a full map range Tack Paragon, which isn't ideal. If you also observe carefully, we are still missing a couple of buffs. Mainly, one of the more important ones is Overclock for good attack speed. However, there was a little problem with this mod I just realized, and apparently, targeted buffs do not work on the attack. As you see, it shows invalid target for some reason, which is a problem, obviously, because that is 67% attack speed plus 67, like, off the table because of Ultra Boost. Overclock and Ultra Boost both give the same amount of attack speed, but without that, we're now left with a much weaker Paragon. Not to fret though, thankfully we can very easily simulate the attack speed given by the Overclock and Ultra Boost by doing the following rate changer. Multiply by 2.7888, and just like that, we've got ourselves an easy workaround. Only issue is that it does increase the attack speed of every other tower, so Zilly does a little bit more, Prone Brew does a little bit more, but overall it ain't too much. Last thing I'm gonna add, Lord of the Abyss for 40% Pierce on the attacks, in case it's an issue. I don't think it is, because we've already got a lot of Pierce buffs, but you never know. Now it's time to go ham. Here's how round 250 looks like. F-Bads are what we are most concerned about, but they've got so much to go still. I think 300 is easily on the table. Here is halfway between 250 and 300. Definitely seems to be making a move on us now. The F-Bat got decently past halfway, but I think it can hold off for another couple dozen rounds or so. In case it's not clear, no debuffs also, like Super Brittle, Curve Mob, and all that, which probably would help a little bit, especially for Tack. But them's the rules. Uh-oh. I don't think we're gonna make it. 295? We just used the meteor. We lost some lives, actually. But, oh my god, there's no way. There's no way we died at the last possible second there. Okay. I think I'll actually utilize the big range ability, maybe just for, like, the start of the round, so some of the tanks can hit the bads at the entrance, giving us a little bit of head start. I don't know. I haven't used that ability at all, because I just don't think it's been useful. Because we already have enough, like, this already gets good coverage. Otherwise, there's nothing we can do to change this. Actually, let's do last. I might have been targeting the front two F-Bads. Oh, I also forgot to totem. Uh-oh. It's over. It's over because I forgot to totem, right? I'll use the ability now. Okay. I think big range helps us here. For sure. Please don't die. Nah. Because we got so much more to test and it's still 5 rounds to go, I think we'll just call it there. And say 295 is, yeah, pretty much the limit for the Tack. Next up, Mr. Bomb Paragon. We'll start back off at a slightly lower round the Tack got to, just to give it some extra buffer room. But this is basically the exact same buffs as the Tack, minus the Lord of the Abyss, because obviously there's no shot this is going to get Pierce capped. I think F-Bad's got way less distance than Tack, so yeah, it should definitely get to 300 or beyond, which makes sense, because in the vanilla tests, the bomb, like, the 300 bomb did get further than Tack. I guess don't forget too that it's literally over twice as expensive as a Paragon. And also, I just realized attack speed really helps the bomb, because a lot of the time in the one Paragon test, it died to just unreliability. Like, the main attack shoots too slow, even at degree 100, to where it'll leak DDTs, and that's the reason why I think it only got to 208, as opposed to, I don't know, given its actual power level, probably like, 220, 230 in a real test. Yeah, 275 still isn't even close, and holy moly lag. This is pretty self-explanatory, but we switch out the hero to Striker Jones so that we get attack speed. It's 11% attack speed, like perma, on bombs, which actually might be worse than a Zealy 17% totem, because the totem has, like, you know, 2/3 uptime, or 67%, but the biggest reason is that I think this level 20 artillery man gives double damage to all bomb shooters for 10 seconds. I don't know if this applies to the Paragon. I mean, it should, in theory. I think when there's one bad left, that's good to test. Additionally, on top of, like, resetting, like, that ability of resetting the cooldown of the ISAB missile, which also comes in handy. 299 still has plenty of room, though, and unlike the Tack Paragon, it won't die to blimps, because look at that knockback of Boon Crush. So nasty that, like, yeah, before we even pop the ZMGs down, it takes them from the last bend all the way back to the first. Let's keep pushing it, and let me just test. I'm gonna use double damage now, and use that ability, and that did 5 million damage. I'm pretty sure the double damage actually did work there, which is insane. You hear about, you know, Super Brutal Kuruma being OP by giving +4, +5, but when you have a multiplier on a Paragon that does millions, yeah, that's nasty. And now, let me use the ability now without... Yeah, without the double damage, it only did 2 million there, so looks like it does work. Anyway, round 3010, this bad also, I think, gets to close to last bend, so I still think several dozen more rounds. Given Striker ability, like the double damage ability, is so long that we only get 1 per round, I think it's probably just best to save it to the very end. To when we know, or to when we think we're going to need it, or when the Ice Missile will cluster the most amount of F-Bats. I think this next one, definitely. Now? Ooh, 6 million right there. Double damage main attack too. Oh, no. I should probably wait for Homeland Defense to combo with it. Right now, only CTA is active, because Homeland, no double damage. Either way, I think it still doesn't matter, though. Because on 325, this F-Bat still only made it, like, I don't know, 6 inches further than 310. Instead of waiting for the end of the round, like I said, I think it's probably best just to time it, like, when there's a big cluster on the screen. Like, for example, right here. Right here. Let's double damage now, while the cluster bomb has Homeland active, and all those F-Bads, like, on top of each other. They kind of move too fast at this point, so what happened there wasn't ideal. But you get what I mean, I hope. You get what I mean. Come on. Come on. Okay, I think we got it. Back on strong for the last F-bat up there. And this is going to clear, but just barely. We don't have much time left, do we? Holy crap. Yeah, absolutely not. Okay, here. Boom. Reset. Use it again. I put it on first, but it's fine. It was already F-bats there. It's over right here. It only just hit the last 20% now, but there's not going to be enough, right? Nope. Valiant effort, though. 341, I think, is... No, I think it's about what I expected. Increase from Tack Shooter. And now third on the list, the Wizard. And it's really rapid-firing Phoenix. Yeah, that's a pretty awesome visual we got there. Now, there's definitely one problem I noticed with the Wizard, and that is... With a lot of attack speed, the mana becomes a bit of a problem. As in, I can't really use its main attack. I have to switch it, or do a good amount of micro to keep it on the beam. Otherwise, because the amount of mana the main attack uses is based on the, I guess, amount of targets it hits. So, for example, if I take it off the beam right now, it drains so incredibly fast. It's insane. So anyway, I don't expect this to get as far as the bomb shooter, mostly because there's no utility. We can't knock back balloons if it gets too far. But I still expect it to get decently far, or decently high. We'll just test 270 here. Take it off because I don't have Metamorphosis, and we clean that easy. F it, round 300. God, the beam charges so slowly. It doesn't seem like that's affected by attack speed, or is it? No, definitely not. If it was, then it would be charging so much faster than that. That's a bit of a problem, though. I'll have to use a Metamorphosis at not full power, but that's fine. Metamorphosis with this amount of attack speed should absolutely clear, even at only, again, 62% capacity. And indeed, it does. Good God, look at the amount of wall fires the Metamorphosis is spawning over there. Yeah. As long as we, you know, use Metamorphosis at the right time, we can probably get close to bomb, if not pass it. I'm not sure how much, like, this ability, the Phoenix Explosion, is worth it, like this one, for example, because I don't know how much this gets affected by max buffs. Probably not too much, right? The zombies, UMGs are overall pretty weak, and you can't really buff DUT that much. I'll still use it anyway for a small boost, but this is good. This time, I can absolutely wait for a max charge and then nuke out everything on round 301. Also, I have my homeland on TechBot as usual, but it might be some error just to not, like, to keep it off so that I always have Metamorphosis plus homeland at the same time. That's going to be real important. 321, not even close. F it, jump all the way to 341 now. It's to beat this round or bust. Strong? Pretty easy round, actually. Oh yeah, not even close. Okay, yeah. We've got so many more rounds left in us. I've never seen this many bads in my life before on 359. I'll try to see if I can stall for... Did I leak? No, I panicked. I had to use Metamorphosis, like, a little bit early. Didn't quite perfectly time it with Homeland, but I'd say good enough. Or is it? Because there's still, like, again, 5 F-bats left. And if we don't beat it before the full charge runs out, it's GG. I've already attempted this run, like, or this round specifically, 5 times, and no. Okay, great news. I have stalled very long this run. This has got to do it. Homeland almost perfectly overlapped. I'll just keep it in first so I don't die to Moabs. That seems fine. Maybe occasionally back on strong, but I just gotta deal with whatever's first there. Come on. Come on, this one F-bat here is taking forever to pop. Oh, come on, don't let this be the end. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Pretty good step up, though. Obviously, you could get a lot higher if you want to squeeze every round out perfectly, but I think you get the general gist of the whiz. And now, last but not least, I mean it literally, the Spike Paragon is, I think, going to absolutely smash 360, because there are a lot of buffs you can give it, notably Pierce buffs, again, work like damage buffs, because 40% Pierce is basically 40% more that the spikes can handle. And we're going back to Striker Jones because he gives 25%. Add that all together, and you got yourself pretty much an unstoppable leg machine. Even on round 300, not even getting past the first bend. Spot Pits is chosen because this was where it originally performed best. Due to Spike-Ageddon, spikes working in a similar way, or a very effective way. Now, what I'm curious to know is with Spike-Ageddon, okay, so Spike-Ageddon does not get affected very well by max buffs, because, as you see, it still drops this a flat amount of spikes every single time it lands, as opposed to the normal spikes where, you know, you can get 10x attack speed on them and have them do 10 times more damage. So I think this actually means now that the spikes are more powerful than Spike-Ageddon. Am I wrong to say that? This is going to be absolutely brutal to test, like, free of lag, but we'll try our best here. I have not even been using the attack speed ability, Controlled Burst. That will spawn even more spikes and even more lag. Yeah. This tower deserves a jump straight to the new PB. 360. Yeah, my PC is so cooked here, guys. What can I even do but wait it out? For crying out loud, I even have it all on normal targeting so that the spikes aren't concentrated. If I did put them in one spot, boy, I don't think I would be able to make it out this round before crashing. Genuinely. Anyway, it looks like 360 got to the exact same place that 320 got to. I think we could probably make a much bigger jump seeing this. F it, bring on the big 400. I'm not even going to use the Controlled Burst ability unless I absolutely need to. I'd rather save my FPS. 5 minutes later, and once again, it appears like this is about as far as any balloon has reached. Oh, scratch that. Wow. They actually got through one of these loops here, all the way up here. I'm gonna just let it rip, though. I will be sitting here for literal days at this point, so bring on 450. F it. We do the binary search like I did, I think, for some of these modded tests a long time ago, wherein basically we jump a bunch of rounds, we die somewhere, we go to halfway in between, like the 2 rounds we tested, so on and so forth until we find, the rounds where I beat one and then I don't beat one that are close enough to where we get a good answer. And oh god, halfway update, or not even halfway, but bads are very quickly overwhelming us. I will have to use Controlled Burst now for, well, a burst of damage. 10 minutes later, it appears that we got the leg is finally clearing up because I guess the balloons are all on the other side. And we had a clutch Spike-Ageddon to do massive amounts of damage, and I think we're going to still be fine on 450. Yep, easy. Okay, now jump to 500. I don't think we beat this, but see you in 15 minutes after either balloons get to the exit or everything disappears. I ended up leaving and coming back to a defeat screen. Judging by the amount of bads in the background, I think it's safe to say we weren't even close. So now for 475. I think one thing that's working against us is the fact that we used up all of the spikes on 450 that we don't have much built up to where we did on like 450, for example. But I think that's like unavoidable at this point. Once we get to the rounds that's gonna die on, it's gonna have to use up every spike possible to pass each round. Cross fingers this works though. Surprisingly, 475 does not look even close either. My god. They're still spawning in and the full bads are turning the last bend. Yeah, GG. Just get this over with already, will ya? Yep, there goes the Scarab. Goodbye. We'll try closer to the lower end with 460, but even this I'm sus about. 460 was not successful either. Hell, can we even beat the next round after 450? I think at this point we should just test that if, like, the loss of the start of round spikes really makes that much of a biggie. Oh, and also, by the time I'm close to dying, I should also do set target to only have spikes spawn at the backside. I think that could get me another couple rounds or two. Okay, scary times here. The round is stop spawning. I've set target back here to hopefully clutch each CMG, but man, this is close. Now prepare for some absolutely massive leg spikes, as, you know, there's probably going to be a lot of stuff built up at one point. We also got Spike again. I think this does it. Let's not speak too soon. There's not a lot of track length for those mobs, but I think the spikes have more than enough pierce, right? Even if we do get this round, it's just kind of crazy how much one round of a difference makes, and it does not. We die. So I guess that answers it roughly. Spike Paragon's obviously by far the best, but it still can't get through the mid 400s. As I mentioned at the start, I did this buffing Paragons mod many years back, so if you missed that, which you most likely did, then click on that over here.